So guys, what are the main elements of the fast and systemic defeat of the Russian Federation? Number one, it is the destruction of their military-industrial complex, their demilitarization. And number two is the collapse of the Russian economy. And I'm always glad to report about the steps that Ukrainian armed forces make to achieve this goal. And today it is actually a beautiful combo. Because first, we've destroyed a number of air defense systems that Russia was using on the temporarily occupied territories, and actually, it's a good signal that something big and good is coming to these territories. And another good news is that we have destroyed a huge oil depot in Rostov region, which Russian army was actively using, but it is also a strike against Russian oil refining industry, which perhaps is the only one that slows down the agony of the Russian economy. So let's discuss about our special military operations to defeat the evil empire. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin and protect yourself against the evil narratives and hybrid warfare in your countries, subscribe. We discuss all of that on the channel. And let's start with a serious explosion and fire in Rostov region on the oil depot, which was previously targeted in summer. This also resulted in the severe destruction of oil products that were necessary for the Russian army, as it is close to the front lines. It also illustrates that despite knowing the fact that Ukrainian drones can easily reach there is nothing Russians can do because they lack air defense systems, they don't know how to use them properly, and also because it is war of the 21st century and there are lots of new inventions that allow to trick Russian, especially Soviet air defense systems. You know that Russian oil producing, oil refining part of economy is the most important one because they still use and live from natural resources. They are not competitive on the market of innovations. You're not looking to buy a Russian car or a Russian mobile phone. All they can offer is natural resources, which actually often belong not to the classical mainland Russia, if it's possible to say, but to the republics, national republics that they suppress and artificially keep within this monstrous federation. And you watch how quickly Russian ruble falls. That's a beautiful thing. You know, like they say, you can observe eternally how the fire is burning, the water is running, and Russian ruble is falling. So that's what we watch right now, and I'm convinced that it is the start of the collapse, first of the Russian economy and then of Russia itself. But the only thing that keeps it possible to pretend that they still can operate on the market is oil industry. And if something happens to Russian oil exports, or if something happens to oil prices, Russia is done. And there are symptoms that something will actually help. Starting from Saudi Arabia, ready to lower the prices, and finishing with President Trump, who was speaking about his plan to lower prices of oil products, to actually advance the production in the United States, which will be deadly for Putin and his war economy. So let's hope it happens sometime soon. And those of you who love betting on Discord, we have a quiz where you can actually tell your date when you think Russian ruble will hit 150 rubles for just $1. So join Discord community and you can actually win good presents from my merch shop for your vote. And subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine and to see the collapse first of the Russian economy and then of the Russian Federation itself. And another good thing that happened today, we've managed to destroy Russian air defense radio location system Buk in the temporarily occupied part of Zaporizhzhia region. And book is a very dangerous system. Those of you who follow the development of Russian evil remember how they have downed MH17 Boeing, and it was done with a book system. So we have made this planet a safer place by destroying another Russian book. This is expensive, this is problematic, but most important, it makes Russian air defense even more vulnerable. And you see by all of that explosions, fires and destructions of their military objects in totally different parts of the Russian Federation right now that they do have serious problems with air defense. And now they will lack some of air defense missiles because we have set them on fire with serious detonations in Yevpatoria, which is a beautiful city on the territory of the temporarily occupied Crimea. And when Crimea is back home, you will be able to see how beautiful this place is, and that it is definitely not designed by God to be a military base for rotting Russian Navy, but for people to visit it, to enjoy nature, to discover culture, history, and so on. So all of these things, if you combine them and look from the perspective without the toxic Russian narratives, you can see that we are systematically destroying Russian air defense in Crimea, in Zaporizhzhia, which is the southern part of Ukraine, which means something big is coming. And this big is the liberation of Ukrainian territories. Actually, something huge is happening right now in Syria, and Assad escaped to Moscow, and perhaps he will stay there. Let me know in the comments below, would you like a separate video about that? Because it seems like Putin lacks money and power to support his co-dictators, and that is why we see serious troubles for pro-Russian or Russia-supported dictators. We see how brave people of Georgia stand against the very Russia-funded parties there. We see that Aleppo is free from Assad. I know it's a complex part of the world. I lack a lot of knowledge about that, but what I see is that Putin-controlled elements are collapsing, and this is a beautiful signal, just an illustration what will happen future in the Federation itself. By the way, we have a video about the dissolution of the Russian Federation that I will connect here. Stop being afraid of that. That is actually a way to live in a safe and better place. I remind you about our NEFO campaign. These beautiful drones actually help to set Russian oil refineries, Russian air defense systems, Russian military airfields on fire. And we are 50% done with this fundraiser to help it support our brave 67th Brigade get the best patches which say make Russia small again, and we can do it. You make me very happy and proud whenever you support our Ukrainian armed forces and an amazing team of NAFO that actually makes it all possible. Also, let me know if you are available for a live tomorrow, and you can actually leave ideas for the conversation we can hold tomorrow in the comments below. I read all of them attentively. I thought about the economic problems of Russia, or potentially these troubles on Russia-controlled territories in Abkhazia, in Syria, in Georgia, in Moldova, because they tried but they failed there. So lots of things can be important for that discussion. Let me know in the comments below what would you like to talk about tomorrow, 9 p.m. Kyiv, if you are free. Join me on Instagram, X, Threads, Discord, and Blue Skies. I'm very active there, and it seems like our community is growing quickly. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. This means a lot, and this helps me film and write more. And also remember that we have -15% sale on our merch shop, and you can get a lot of good presents, Christmas presents or other holidays that you celebrate. But also remind people about Ukraine and tell something about our beautiful cultural heritage, or even illustrate Ukrainian drones. Do check the merch shop. But most importantly, thank you for standing with us. Thank you for holding conversations, persuading people, influencing your politicians, because this is a blessing that we still live in the democratic world that we so strongly protect, where we can change a lot. And we will defeat Russia, we will demilitarize Russia, and let's observe the fall of the Russian ruble. Slava Ukraini!